Okay, so here we have the Tunisian Smock Stitch, and I'm just going to work through a few rows for you. We're going to start with a yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and we're going to continue to yarn over, pull through 2 the entire length of this row. And for those of you that are familiar with Tunisian crochet, this is just a return row, a return pass. In Tunisian crochet, when we work the loops off the hook, before we then work back in on the same side of the garment to build the loops back up. And really it's the way in which we work back up the hook that allows us to create the pretty smock stitch design. Okay, so now we want to build the loops, the 18 loops back up on the hook, and we're going to skip the first vertical stitch on the very right because we already have a loop on the hook. We're going to pass under the second and third vertical stitches and pull up a loop. Then we're going to put the yarn in front, pass under the next 2 vertical stitches and pull up a loop, put the yarn in front, under the next 2, pull up a loop, yarn in front, go under the next 2 vertical stitches, and sometimes you have to look for them. Yarn over, pull up a loop, put the yarn in front, look for the next 2 vertical stitches, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn in front, next 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, and each time we're adding 2 more stitches to the loop by pulling that yarn in front. All right, yarning in front and pulling up a loop, and now we have 16 stitches on the hook, so we need to yarn over or yarn under, go through that last chain stitch on the very end and pull up a loop so that we now have our 18 stitches back on. Now we're going to do the return pass again. Yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and continue to yarn over, pull through 2 the entire length of this row. And you know, with Tunisian crochet, each row is actually 2 worked rows of crochet, but that is one Tunisian crochet, one going down the hook, working off loops, and then one as we work back up, putting the loops back on the hook. So 2 crocheted rows make one Tunisian row. Again, we're getting to the end of our return row, and we're going to just modify the pattern a little bit to give the nice cross design. And in this case, we want to do just a simple Tunisian stitch under the first vertical stitch, go under 1, yarn over and pull up a loop, and then under the next 2, yarn over and pull up a loop, then put the yarn in front, go under the next 2, pull up a loop, yarn in front, under the next 2, pull up a loop, under the yarn in front, under the next 2 vertical stitches and pull up a loop, yarn in front, next 2, pull up a loop, yarn in front, look for the next 2 vertical stitches and pull up a loop, yarn in front, next 2, pull up a loop, and on this last one we're just going to have 1 left that's by itself. We just go under the 1 with the yarn in front, pull up a loop, and that gives us 17 stitches on the hook. So we go under that last chain stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, and that returns us to our 18 stitches that we had to begin. And this is how I make the headband or ear warmer using the smock stitch. And I go to about 20 inches long by about 4 inches wide, and then just simply seam them together when you're all done. And you can see this free pattern on my website. You can reach it in the video description. There's a link to my Ravelry page where you can get the pattern for free if you'd like to try it yourself. Thank you for taking a look, and I hope you find this stitch helpful.